It's an absolute honor to be part of this panel and to help moderate the discussion. As Peter said, I'm a workplace culture architect, and I have the privilege of being in so many organizations across our country, actually. And one of the things that I've seen over the years is that the leaders and the programs within these organizations can really help us empower and help sort of shift these systems and power dynamics that have been evolving over the years. So we're really lucky to have this great panel with us today, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that they're doing in their organizations to really help shift this power dynamic. Now, as you know, this event is being held on International Women's Week, not IWD, IWW. And it's been such an amazing week. I've been in a whole bunch of different sessions, and so just really excited here to continue that celebration. And the theme of International Women's Day this year was Choose to Challenge, hashtag Choose to Challenge. So I'm going to start off the panel by asking each of our panelists around this notion of what did you choose to challenge that allowed, more women to become empowered in your organization. So Salima, let's start with you. At RBC, I know there's numerous sophisticated programs, real leaders when it comes to diversity and inclusion. And what are some of the programs that you've been a part of or seen that have been really successful?
So good morning, everybody, and it's a pleasure being here with you this morning. What a wonderful morning. When I think about choosing the challenge, I think of it in three parts. We think of RBC, who is on a mission with respect to diversity and inclusion, through supporting our employees to speak up, empower us to grow, achieve more. It's a culture that really seeks out respect in different perspectives and challenges conventional approaches to support one another. We have a broad personal commitment throughout all levels, which makes RBC stand apart. We continue this commitment even before a new employee joins us. And through our recruitment and hiring practices, we give equal opportunity for candidates to share, allowing us to learn and support them. And then from the moment new employees join us, they're supported with training, working with teams and allies to fulfill their every desire. The pandemic's been really difficult on all of us. And the second part is the benefit support that was quickly made available to all employees, from enhanced child care, elder care days, flexibility, work schedules, working from home, mental health support for our personal well-being. We know that a large segment of our employees are women, and with school and daycare closures, many of my colleagues were able to leverage these programs to help support them and their families during these stressful times. And the third part is really the continued focus on advancement of women. We had to pivot really quickly to virtual meetings, coaching conversation, career dialogues, and for many of us working in the branch, face-to-face, 6 feet apart, with our masks on. And as I reflect on this past year, I've had the pleasure of working with close 10 female colleagues with the right skills to help them advance to higher positions for their continued growth. My personal journey with RBC over the last 30 years has granted me many women leaders that have inspired, supported, guided, and advised through their experiences in an informal mentorship that really made a significant difference for me personally and professionally. And as I went back and reflected, 27 leaders I've had over a span of 30 plus years, and 18 of those leaders have been women. Strong, confident, authentic women who have aided me with a variety of positions to gain depth and breadth to be my very best. And, I recall one of my career discussions with my leader, Peter, years ago, who started the opening comments here, and he may not remember, He's my ally. And I recall he asked me what I felt I needed to grow further. I knew I wanted to pursue further education to gain knowledge in personal financial planning. And Peter invested in me through not only the financial resources, the fact that he saw more in me and wanted to help me with my career progression gave me the confidence to stretch myself. I'm very fortunate. We are very fortunate to have champions and allies, women and men, creating the climate. More work does absolutely need to be done, but we are in a good position and on our way.
Wonderful. There is so much in there, Salima, like so much in there. I first want to acknowledge the idea of onboarding and the employee experience, and it doesn't start on their first day. It starts every day. So that's brilliant. And for those of you out there listening, like what are some of the tidbits? I would say that is a key one, your employee experience and how can you help empower women from day one, and RBC is doing an amazing example. The whole notion of speaking up and creating place for diverse voices, another great example. And then last, just some great examples about mentoring and mentoring from men and women and hearing those diverse insights. Amazing. Thanks so much, Salima, for sharing that. Next, over to a local business owner here, Chantel, and I know you're the CEO at Jan Kelly, and love to hear what's going on there and how you're empowering women.
Morning. It's nice to be here. Did you want us to talk about how we're choosing to challenge or how we're empowering women? Which one did you want to get started
like just
with? Jump right in?
I think they actually are combined together, in all honesty. If we're looking to empower women, we're choosing to challenge.
All right. Well, so as you know, we are a creative digital agency, and our business and industry is really powered by women, and there are also relatively low barriers to entry. So it's very easy for women to opt out of corporate life, hang out a shingle, do independent consulting if the work environment doesn't fit their life. And that's great if that's what you want to do, and all the power to you. But I guess when I think about choosing to challenge, I don't want women feeling like they have to do that to make their life fit. So, you know, at a time when 1 in 4 women are really seriously contemplating leaving or downsizing their work, for me and for us, we are really challenging this concept of downsizing your career to fit your life. And so, of course, that's for us about creating a family-friendly workplace. It's about flexible hours, part-time, all of those things. But it's also very much about focusing on the power of team, the power of a culture, and ensuring that women are getting experiences and learning opportunities that they wouldn't get on their own. So that's when I think about what am I really passionate about and what am I challenging, that's a key thing for us. Now, when it comes to empowering women, I think connected to that for us are 3 things. You know, we focus on supporting the whole person, meaning we work to help women achieve their full potential in their personal life, their professional life, their family life. They have mentors and set goals in all of those areas and work towards them. And quick examples of supporting the whole person is we have return to work. We have re-onboarding programs for moms who are returning to work after a parental leave, or parents who are returning to work after a parental leave, because that's a really critical time to make sure that women are supported. And connected to that, we really focus on the long game. So for us, we're all on this crazy journey called life, and we often say, as parents, the days may feel long, but the years are short. And so when we're building our programs to mentor and support our teams, it's very much about supporting and nurturing the person that they are today and the person that they have yet to become. So as women come back to work, we offer them an opportunity to design their work schedule, their work experience, what that works for them right now. And that's a point in time, and that's not forever, because your needs and priorities and pressures change over time. So if it makes sense for you to work part-time for a couple of years while you're waiting for your kids to start JK, that's great. And we work to accommodate that. And I think that's also connected to how we've managed through the pandemic. as Salima indicated, this was a very different time for all of us, and we had to get creative, and I'm really proud to say we've not lost anyone through this pandemic, because we did accommodate, and we had a number of parents who dropped down to 60% work schedules for during the summer months when they needed it, when they needed to be there for their kids and make sure that everyone in the family was well. So that's important. And the final thing I want to talk about is expecting and encouraging ambition. For us, we do this by trying to create process and structure that facilitates discussions that women often struggle to have. In my experience, men are just often more comfortable talking about what's the next opportunity, what's the next promotion, what's my next raise. And women on the whole are a little bit less comfortable doing that. So we're working hard to build process and structure that just makes that a matter of course. And of course, we have more work to do, and we are working towards creating full transparency on salaries as well, so that we can have those really open and honest discussions. But those are just some of the things that we're doing.
Wow, those are fantastic, Chantel. I love, I think what that's demonstrating is it's one thing to say we want to empower, and we have to put systems and processes into place to allow it to happen. So, providing that flexibility, being able to come back after being off with a child. I remember my mat leave was 4 months, and I went back and I got asked right away, well, like, why didn't you take the whole year off? I'm like, because I didn't want to. And so it's just, it's so inspiring hearing how systems and processes will meet people where they're at. Wonderful. Thanks, Chantel. Oh, were you going to say something? You look like you were going to add something.
I think our perspective on this evolves over time. For a long time, the way I thought I could support women was by saying, no, work full time, because I don't want you to give up your full-time position, and I don't want you to be working being paid part-time and working part-time. And so I had to get over that myself and say, well, actually, it's about supporting women for what works for them, not what you believe works for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Chantel. All right. Over to Julie Cole. I've been seeing you all week at things. Oh, are you on mute? No? Can't hear you. Oh, now you're on mute. I think you're coming off.
I think I'm good. Am I good?
All right. Yeah, that's good. All right.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah. The you're on mute is the sentence of the last year.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. We should have a little emoji for you're on mute, just to pop up in the chat. Right. Awesome. Well, it's almost like I Julie, you're so famous for what you do, not only with Mabel's Labels, but for really creating a space to talk openly about being a parent and what that's like to work, and just such a great role model. Can you share with us about some ways that, you and your role at Mabel's Labels and, in your business there, how you've supported this entrepreneurial spirit with women and how you've really chosen to challenge?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think, being an entrepreneur and starting your own business really gives you a unique opportunity to kind of create a culture that in your ideal vision. And for me, I have 6 kids, so busy mom. I have a kid on spectrum. So I had to do, my professional life was very, very awkward. And, I did end up leaving the traditional workforce to find something with a little more flexibility. So I very much understood what kind of culture worked best for me, and with my co-founders were the same. They were moms of small kids. So there are a few things that we've done in creating our own business and our own vision. We promote leadership. I believe great leaders don't want followers. They want leaders. And to Chantel's point, so what's the pathway? What's your internal promotion policy? What are you doing to support women? Are you providing them with professional development? I mean, I remember we had a co-op student who was making labels at night and answering the phones and doing all that. And she eventually ended up being our first marketing manager. So it's great to see them grow within the company. And by letting them have the freedom and to be entrepreneurial, you can really, really see this growth. I think you really need to understand your core values too. And is equity one of them? So create a culture where men advocate for their female colleagues, create that culture, and then understand those core values and hire and fire by them. But most of all, pay them, pay the women. Organizations need to believe in and practice pay equity. It's funny, I pulled out a job description I thought I'd share it because I saw it a couple of weeks ago and I was ranting with some of my other women and business pals about it. So Whitby Company posted an ad for a job, and it was for an admin assistant. And we know because of the 5 C's that this will most likely be a woman because clerical fits into that. We just know that's how that rolls.
So Julie, say the 5 C's. You said 5 C's. What are they?
Yeah, the majority of the jobs involving caring, clerical, catering, cashiering, and cleaning.
Thank you.
Kind of the pink collar jobs, as we used to call them back in the day. So we know that this job is likely going to be filled by a woman. So they're looking for an admin assistant, but they also said they must also run errands using their own vehicle, understand construction and landscaping, run their social media, have accounting experience, work outside in all weather, and clean the office. And guess what the applicant was going to get paid? $14.25 to $15.25 per hour. So this stuff is happening. This was 2 weeks ago, a job in Whitby. We have work to be done, and we need to be holding these companies accountable for paying women a proper wage. Show us the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Julie, can you contrast that with what a job description might look like for Mabel's Labels?
Well, yeah, sure. First of all, we have a very unique work environment here. And when I say we hire and fire by our core values, we actually end up getting people in our company, like we get the right people on the bus because we can weed them out through our interview process. We can tell if there are kind of people that believe in equity and all of our other sort of core values. So it is interesting when you apply those core values to your workplace, how easy it is then to make decisions and how easy it is to find the right people that are going to fit your company.
Absolutely. So I spend a good proportion of my time preaching that type of concept. It's really easy to put values on a piece of paper. It's really easy to do that. And it's a whole other thing to actually practice by them. And so, you know what, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to sort of fall a little bit outside of what you'd like to, but that's the power of stating them and then bringing everyone together. I think that's great, Julie. That's awesome. So know those core values and actually practice them. The other thing you said there too, which I think relates back to something that Chantel said, is giving them the freedom. And so really, I think one of the things I've seen to empower women over the past year is this power of flexibility and being able to do your job in the way that you need to. And I can't tell you how many clients I've had that've been afraid to, like, oh, we can't do the work from home thing. Your kids will interrupt you. And now it's pretty normal to have a kid come through on a screen, and people are appreciating it. We're seeing the whole human.
Well, and I think, Carolyn, too, to that point, I mean, Mabel's Labels has always been very results driven. So we had a formal results only work environment because we knew, like, I mean, I was doing business plans during nap time. I was doing product testing during play group, and we know moms can change the world as they're changing diapers, right?
Yep. So
for us, we always really wanted to support. We knew that women could be highly productive at non-traditional times and in non-traditional places. And in doing that, what ends up happening is we don't end up with this toxic work environment. So imagine it like this. Okay, you guys have so many of you have done this. Okay, you get up, you get the 2 kids ready for daycare, got to drop one at daycare, one at school. You get yourself showered, ready to go. You wrangle the toddlers into the car seat. You do the drop off. You get to the office at 9 o'clock, and you're like, I've already put in a full day's work. Well, imagine it's that day, you got them in the car, then one of them pukes, and you got to, like, call your mom if you're lucky enough to have one and see if you can drop that one at mom's for the day. You get into work at 9:30 late. You walk in and somebody says, nice of you to join us.
Yeah.
That sludge is not what we need. That is not a supportive work environment. You know, as long as that mom gets her work done and meets her goals, I don't care. And our customer service team, they can get together and say, oh, well, Jen wants to work from the dock at the cottage and she's going to do all the emails. Great. As long as emails get done, I don't care where it gets done, right?
Yep.
So I think providing that kind of an environment, again, allows them to be entrepreneurial and goal-driven. And hey, that's what I like.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, like that trust is there to let them get the work done wherever they need to. And COVID has shown us it can happen, and amazing creativity and innovation can come from that. Yeah,
And that's why COVID wasn't a big transition for us. We were already kind of doing that, right?
Yep.
I think what doesn't work though with COVID is this continuous expectation for women to get up at 5 a.m. and work until 9 a.m. and then work again at 10 o'clock at night until 1 o'clock in the morning. Like that is not what we mean when we say providing flexibility and providing people with you know, setting them up for success.
Yeah, great point, Chantel. And I think that really goes to show the importance of when you state your values as an organization, be clear on what they are and be clear on what they are not, because we can be our worst enemies and try and prove, and that can lead to those long hours. All right, over to you, Michael. So you are at an engineering company, and you know the whole world of STEM is you know, it's having more women in that field, which is great. We're seeing that trend. Curious to hear how your organization is challenging, you know, this I guess sort of
paradigm.
Yeah, just challenging that whole area.
Yeah, thanks. Very pleased to be today on the call today. I feel a little bit outnumbered, maybe slightly, but that's okay. Yeah, so Bosch is a big operation globally. We have over 300,000 associates. In Canada, we have about 650. So it's very engineer-driven products, but it's across a wide spectrum of various sectors. So it's very much a technical company. When I started with the company a number of years ago, I noticed that two things: we didn't have the number of women in leadership roles, neither did we have the number of women coming into the company, right? So, you know, when we're looking to hire engineers, we're looking to hire technical salespeople, we just weren't getting the applicants. As we got into much more depth, we started spending more times with our local schools, could be public schools, could be high schools, and encouraging young girls to look at technical professions. We always put our best foot forward by having, you know, the women leaders that we have, either in technical roles or in various leader roles, make those presentations, see how interesting it was, and talk about the types of opportunities that exist at Bosch. We also take that into the universities when we're working with, let's say, a University of Waterloo. We always talk about that concentration of diversity within our group, which includes certainly women in various leadership roles within our organization. So again, from a global perspective, there is a commitment to diversity and inclusion, but we all know that you know, at times are words on a page. And then what's really valuable on a call like today is to talk about the meat on the bones, right? So a couple of the things that we've done, I think, that really empower women, I think, is the flexibility of work hours. Chantel was just mentioning about that case for somebody who's working early in the morning and late at night. What we've really encouraged is an outcome-based leadership style. So that means if it takes Julie 6 hours to complete what we typically would see in 8 hours, that's fine for us because it's outcome based. It's not, you know, was Julie in the office for 9.5 hours per day. So I think that was a really good step along the way. I'm talking about steps today because we're in our evolution. We're somewhere at that midpoint, lots to go. And the other thing that we've got is we've got a really well performing mentoring group in place at Bosch. So we have, you know, women being mentored by other women, by men as well. And it's just to develop that skill set in leading within that organization.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael. You know, similar to what we heard from Salima is the power of mentoring, and especially in these really, really large organizations, that can make a really big difference. Seen some comments too about how great it is to expand the candidate pool and to not be reactive and wait for them to come to you, but to be proactive and go out and find them.